It's 7:57 p.m. May 9th. Here's their new hustle. Here's their new hustle on fucking morons with criminal negligence. Oh, he hired us to murder him and try to kill him and give him cancer. He hired us. We're affiliated with him. We're not holding him hostage and stealing trillions of dollars and slowly, covertly murdering him and stealing his intellectual property and committing daily aggravated assault and robbery. He hired us to do that. Yeah, he hired us to stick a permanent device in his brain so we can see through his eyes and harvest from his brain via telepathy and shock his brain, heart, and genitals when he doesn't even know where the hell we are. And if they're people I've encountered in life, real people and not impersonators, anyone I've told this about, they act like I'm psychotic and have no clue what I'm talking about, which is key. So, yeah, no, I'm not the type to hire terrorists to attempt murder on me for entertainment. I'm not a fucking moron. Yeah, so anyone who fell for that has criminal negligence. I've been reporting these people stealing my intellectual property since late 2017. Didn't even know what was going on. Didn't even know these guys were terrorists yet. I didn't even understand. I just knew I was being hacked. And then when I first started hearing the telepathy, I didn't even know it was telepathy. I thought it was my neighbors, and I'd always notice some guy. I'd hear like a chair rolling above me. And then when I'd go to my computer to type my med school notes, and I just kept hearing voices, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then I kept reading about it, and then I thought it was synthetic telepathy or something. And then at one point I thought it was a TI. But also during this period, I came across microwave auditory effect. I thought it was that. I read the Wired article, The Voice of God Jazz. Then I was also thinking of something called frequency interference. Like one time I was in the dark in my room in my apartment at the Loft City Center, 431 West. And I was on the floor talking to someone. And my phone was on the floor. And I thought I was talking to these people through the phone, but it was like this frequency interference. But then I looked at the phone and it was off. The battery was dead. So I was like, what the fuck? And I thought it was just some frequency interference. They were pretending to be Wu-Tang or something. I was like telling them about hierarchical organization of the human body and other things. Something weird. They were pretending to be Wu-Tang. I was like, these guys are crazy. But yeah, my phone was off. And then later I figured out it was telepathy. And this was 2018, early 2018. Later I figured out it was telepathy. Then I started reading about it, and I thought it was microwave auditory effect at first. But then I noticed I had two-way communication. And that was after I'd read this global research article about neural implants and remote control of the sensory nervous system and all this jazz. And I was just still typing my med school notes. I was telling my mom this and that. I was the guy telling my mom, you need to learn how to understand this tech, you need to operate outside the confines of the known and learn to operate in the unknown. I kept telling her. As well as the known too, but I think I was just saying the unknown. Because this isn't the type of tech you can read about on Google. I have been later developing it over time. But I had figured out it was implantation around the point, because there's one point in 2018 when I was sitting there, I was overhearing something, didn't know who. They were talking about something solidifying in my brain. I just heard that part, and then I started thinking that, and then I just stuck with that because it was two-way. A microwave auditory effect works via vibrations, conductive hearing versus sensorial. And if I'm thinking and it's going somewhere and they can communicate with me back and forth, it's clearly not microwave auditory effect, because what am I doing? Thinking and then somehow vibrating the wires of their computer. So it wasn't working via that form of vibration. So it's a neural implant. And then eventually I'd feel these guys pulling on it, and they kept trying to pull it out of my brain. I'd feel it at night. They'd be doing these operations from a satellite, and I'd actually feel something being pulled on. I've described this numerous times, but one kid would say he had a password on it, and then some kid said he tethered it down and other stuff. Quit talking into my brain and looking at the back of the mind and pulling your hustles with the telepathy. Quit pulling back of the mind hustles. I don't need you to speak for me and see what I'm thinking and then say it to me to pretend like you're telling me what to say. That's an affiliation hustle. Yeah, tell them to cut the crap with their affiliation hustles. They're watching me think while I'm talking, and then they're seeing what I'm about to say next, because there's different forms of telepathy. There's the unformulated and the formulated, and they're seeing me talk and think, and then as they're watching me try to pull from my brain and take awareness from my unformulated to formulated, they're reading the unformulated and then trying to say words to me as if they're telling me what to say. These guys are so full of shit, it's scary. But that's an affiliation hustle. No, these terrorists are holding me hostage, and there's an army of terrorists all pretending my life is theirs. And they've been pretending it was theirs since late 2017. I'm the real med school notes guy. I'm the real guy who made Consumption Persuasion, Today's Facts Could Be Tomorrow's Fiction, Willie Lynch. I have the rap chats. Still, they're on my rap chat. I'm the guy who is typing internal medicine notes, stuff about deep vein thrombosis, immunology notes, infectious disease notes, neoplasia notes, cardiology notes. I was the guy I was on the phone. The way you know it's me, I was on the phone with Apple support like every goddamn day, FCC and AT&T all the time. If you listen to the phone calls, if you check the telepathy, you'll even see I say my name, and you'll even hear my voice. So that's how you know I'm the guy who was living at the lofts at 431 West, not East. There's some telepathy person who always tries to say East, but it was really West. So that's another lie they're peddling. But yeah, I was the one writing to the FCC. I was the one at St. Edward's in March of 2018, and I recognized the Sylar-looking fellow who looked at me without the typical indifference of a stranger. And I was working on maybe diffuse B-cell lymphoma or something during that time. I don't remember exactly what. I was working on something neoplasia and cancer related, and I think it may have been either a leukemia or a lymphoma. I can't remember. But yeah, I was working on that, and then I'm the one who made the random stuff document. I still have it. This is my new computer. My old computer, CO2M50HZFD56. Yeah, I'm the random stuff guy, and I was just pondering stuff. And pondering about information and action potentials and this and that. And I was also hearing voices, and one time I went to the elevator because I was hearing something, and I kept hearing people when I was at St. Edward's, and I started typing into the notes on my phone while I was hearing them, and seeing if I could communicate with them or whatever the fuck was going on. They were like getting weirded out by me typing in the notes on my phone. So they got weirded out. I don't know what they were doing. But my theory is some of those telepathy people were that Sylar fellow and two people of African descent. Large, kind of maybe 5'10" to 6 foot, 200 to 300 pounds, man of African descent. He had glasses on. You'll see me if you look at the St. Edward's in Austin footage, you'll see me looking at this man of African descent. I'm sitting like next to the cafeteria on a table, and I see the Sylar guy. He looks at me without the typical indifference of the stranger, and I see the man of African descent, and he says, and they see me and look at me, and then there's this woman of African descent going upstairs, and he calls her a moron right after he saw me, as if I guess these guys are covert, and like I'm the target, and I saw him, so he called him a moron, but he didn't want to make it noticeable, is the vibe I got. And I even wrote to the IC3 about this, and yeah, I wrote to the IC3 and reported it a long time ago because I got a weird vibe from it. But yeah, I was in the black jacket and the collared shirt and a tie, just chilling. My own business, just doing my thing, trying to get out of my house because I was hearing voices in my house. So I left, and then I wanted to go talk to my brother, but I couldn't find him, which was weird, man. Because my brother was living in Austin, so that's key. But yeah. So I was the victim of this shit. So I don't know what hustle these kids are pulling. They're using witness tampering tech on me right now, trying to take me off my train of thought. But, hold on. But yeah, they're using their witness tampering tech. But I'm the victim of this. No, I didn't hire anyone to try to murder me. No, people were just trying to murder me because supposedly I'm some real Illuminati president and never knew. And they were all controlling some game and running it illegally. And then they were trying to steal ideas, cancer ideas, business idea, tech ideas, and then they were trying to steal my med school notes for some reason. One reason they were trying to pay money for them, but what I'm finding out is people were trying to use my med school notes to gain access to these Illuminati labs or something, because they wanted to get a hold of this implantation tech and other tech and meet some scientists. And then some of them wanted to steal my med school notes to gain access to these labs and some experiment ring and this and that, and also so they could use this tech for betting manipulation and other things and these experiment rings. So I'm the victim of all those people. But yeah, just look for the cell phone calls to Apple and AT&T, and you'll see I'm on the phone with them all the time. And if you match it up with the telepathy from 2018, you'll see my med school notes. You'll see me talking to my mom. There's even probably phone calls with my mom saying, yo, I can hear these guys. I can hear these people above me. They're weirding me out or something. She's like, oh, no, it's all right, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, you'll see all my phone calls to AT&T, all my phone calls to Apple, in the telepathy, if you have authentic untampered with telepathy, and if they have authentic phone conversations, you'll hear my voice. And you'll even hear me saying my Apple ID. You'll hear me saying my serial number on my computer, because I even called about my computer before. I had a Dropbox. I even had a Dropbox and put a bunch of weird shit in there that I thought may have been significant and sent it to the FBI. I sent them a link to it. So they claim some Claudia girl stole it and pretended my Dropbox was hers. There's this girl, Claudia, stalking me who pretends all my data and information is hers. She's a liar. Don't trust her. She even steal, like, I'll find, like, one time I found something called the HD link on my computer. It just appeared on my desktop. and I saw my med school notes in it, so I immediately took it off my computer, put it off on a hard drive, and saved it because I suspected them. That's how they were stealing my med school notes. This girl, I guess, pretended to be a law enforcement agent, came to my parents' house, maybe committed a political abuse of psychiatry, stole it, and then she presented it to law enforcement as evidence she found on me as if it was mine, as opposed to me being hacked. So this Claudia girl is a criminal, and she's been misrepresenting evidence repeatedly. It's even in my first DOJ letter in my evidence log. So that's a lot of their tactics is they'll control information, steal evidence I'll collect. Or I found, like, one time I found this thing called like LA Confidential or Knowledge, and some other weird thing. What was it called? Something Warsaw. And I was writing to law enforcement about it. I think they committed a political abuse of psychiatry around that time, stole it, and then misrepresented the evidence as them finding it on me, even though they watched me find it on my computer, wondering what it was. Took it off, and then put it on a hard drive to give to law enforcement. So this Claudia girl's a criminal, and she keeps stealing my evidence and then presenting it as evidence that's mine, or presenting it as something she finds on me, as opposed to me uncovering this, wondering what the fuck is this, and then saving it to give to law enforcement. So that's a piece of what's going on, as well as these Illuminati investigators are really terrorists and criminals, and they steal my evidence and then try to orchestrate their frames that way. So don't be an idiot and fall for it. So that's a key piece of this. But yeah, no, I didn't hire anyone to commit crimes on me. I'm just a victim of people stealing data and stealing intellectual property and pretending my life is theirs. So these people are attempting murder on me, and they're using this as a disguise as, oh, no, he hired us. We're not trying to kill him. He hired us to try to kill him. He hired us to steal trillions of dollars from him. Yeah, right. So anyone fall for that, criminal negligence or a fucking criminal, I don't know which one it is. But yeah, don't fall for it. Don't be an idiot and let these people make you look like a moron. No, I've been reporting these people since late 2017. And then since 2019, I've been writing to law enforcement daily. I've written over 2,000 letters and text boxes and emails to law enforcement, CIA, FBI, United Nations Counterterrorism, Bureau of Counterterrorism, Houston Police, New York Police, California Police, Connecticut Police. I don't know who else I've written to. Austin Police. I've been writing to the FBI, CIA, United Nations. I wrote to China at one point. I still write to China here and there. I wrote to goddamn Russia. I wrote to England. I've been writing to all sorts of people, informing them of these global terrorists and this global terrorist agenda. And they actually got weirded out by it, and then they control my searches, and they actually will block access and prevent me from delivering my message to as many people as possible. And they're actually, I wrote to all sorts of human rights officials, everything, civil rights, Department of Justice people, everything. But they're actually controlling my searches on my modem to prevent me from sending information out to key people to try to stop these global terrorists with their implantation terrorism campaigns, their human programming campaigns, their hand-tying campaigns, etc. So that's a key point. But yeah, I wouldn't trust these people. They're terrorists and criminals, and they're all involved in hand-tying exercises, making people look criminally negligent, misrepresenting evidence. They're purposely trying to set government officials, law enforcement up, and other people for hand-tying. One of their tactics may be misrepresenting all this evidence that's really mine, and they're going to tie everyone's hands. One thing could be misrepresenting all the evidence related to my data, ideas, raps, guitar songs, and then tie hands. So be wary. It's a hand-tying exercise. They're hosting parties for herding, getting people together in small places, trying to implant them. They're trying to set people up with illegal gambling rings. I mean, this is all documented in my letters. And these kids who steal my letters and pretend my information is theirs, those are the key terrorists trying to hand-tie everyone. Praise Jesus.